talk to you guys a little bit about the Outlaw 1 series of cars. Those were the enclosed cars. They look like passenger cars that you would have ridden during the turn of the 20th century when people were heading out west. Now, the way the cars were designed is they had two doors, a front door and a back door, and there was a single aisle that went all the way down. There were bus benches that lined the roads, and and because the trips were full trips around the park, they were very inefficient when it came to loading and unloading. If you think about it, guests would have to climb up a tiny little, staircase, walk in single file, grab their seats, do the trip, stand up, exit out the back, go down that tiny little staircase. It took forever, then they had to repeat the process just to load. Now, because Disney became very busy, they realized that this type of style car wasn't exactly going to work. Yes, it looks really nice, but it just wasn't practical. Also, it gets kind of warm in here. There were no air conditioning units inside the cars, so on those hot days, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. Now, things really became impacted in the 1960s. Now, it was in 1966 when the primeval world moved to Disneyland, our dinosaurs. Now, because the cars were enclosed and they all faced forward, the only people who had good views of the primeval world were the people sitting on the window side. Other people, they'd have to look over and glance over heads and over shoulders. And also, because these windows were just bus windows, or slightly larger than, you really couldn't see much. The dinosaurs' heads were getting cut off. You weren't able to see the whole story, as you like to put it. So it was in the 60s that the Outlaw 1 series of cars were discontinued. They were pulled off the main line, and over time they were sold off to private collectors for their own fun and games. We held on to one car, and that was the Grand Canyon observation car. We kind of held on to that. That stayed backstage in the Roundhouse for about 10 years. And then it was in 1975 that the railroad superintendent decided that he wanted to do something special for America's bicentennial, which would have been next year in 1976. Sorry. Now they knew two things. They knew, one, that Walt Disney had always wanted to have his own private parlor car for the railroad, but he never got to see that happen because Walt Disney passed away December 15th, 1966, 10 years prior. They also knew that we had an extra parlor car, an extra observation car that wasn't being used. So with that in mind, we contacted Walt Disney Imagineering as well as Lilly and Disney, and we were able to take the Grand Canyon parlor car, or observation car, rename it, retheme it, and rededicate it on July 4th, 1976 as the presidential parlor car Louisville, which is what we have now. Lilly and Disney did help decorate the interior, which is pretty awesome. Something really special, a tradition that parlor cars have, is the interior is decorated based on the likes and interests of their owners. So in this case, we've got Walt and Lillian, all right? This is their car. So there's Walt and Lillian's personality in the decorum of this vehicle. We'll start off with Lillian. She loved gardening. Sorry, I haven't done this field in a while, so I'm trying to remember it as I go. She loved gardening, so there's a lot of floral patterns in here. It's in the carpet, the leaf painted wood above your heads, it's in the curtains behind you folks, and it's even in our fresh cut flowers we have on the tables here. Now Walt Disney is where we get the theming, alright? Walt loved the Victorian era, 1860s, early 20th century. So we've got marble countertops, knickknacks and doilies on our tables. We've got Himalayan mahogany wood for the paneling of the car. We have drapes, crushed velvet, burgundy seats, a lot of brass in this car. It's just got that feel of elegance to it. It's very regal. The very first guests to utilize this car as a mode of transportation was the Emperor of Japan, Emperor Hirohito, and his wife. They were visiting in 1976, and they took a trip in this car. They rode from Tomorrowland to Main Street Station. They wanted to see the Grand Canyon and the primeval world. Also, Emperor Hirohito was a huge fan of Walt Disney. He loved Mickey Mouse. It was said that he actually had a Mickey Mouse pocket watch that he wore wherever he went. So he was a big fan of Disney. Along with him, we've had celebrities, government officials, royalty, dignitary, and then Club 33 members utilize this car as well. We had it on the line until 2001. Unfortunately, by 2001, the car had become victim of dry rot. It wasn't properly taken care of. Plus, it was old. The car is from 1950s. So we removed it off the main line again. This time, not even sure if we were ever gonna fix it up. But luckily, in 2005, I don't know if you guys heard about it or not, but we celebrated our 50th anniversary. It was a very big project. Disney invested a lot of money into that celebration. So we decided to spend the extra money and have the car completely refurbished from the ground up. It was redone, reimagined, as you can say, and it was rededicated on February 15th, 2006. Now the significance for that date was February 15th is Lilly and Disney's birthday. So kind of nice little sentiment there. When they rededicated the car, ownership of the car transferred from City Hall to the Disneyland Railroad. Whereas before, unless you had any type of title over your head, you didn't get to be inside this car. It was literally kept under lock and key. However, when we rededicated it, ownership went to the railroad, which put us in charge of who went in here and who went in here when, which allowed us to do tours inside this car, which is obviously what we try to do as much as we can. On hot days, it's impossible. But you guys are lucky to be touring this car.